Welcome back to Triple Office Sports Talk. I'm Josh. There's no Bryce, and that's Roy over there. Bryce isn't going to be here. Had to work today or tonight, however you want to put it. So it's just going to be me and Roy today, and we're going to have a pretty short episode. We're pretty much just going to be talking about baseball. There's not a whole else going on right now. So we're going to get right into it. But before I do, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, follow our TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. We might have a surprise coming here soon, a special guest. So be on the lookout for that. But I think we're just going to kick right into it for baseball. And first, we're going to go over our standings of our draft. So last week, we got to update some of our teams. Roy and Bryce both made changes. So this is as of Tuesday night. So not with you, not on Wednesday. Roy is still in last place with 103 wins, but he did have a much better week than the last few.
In second place, Marlins, so
that's true. And the Red Sox won 2 games, which is basically all the Marlins won in the month.
Yep.
The Bryce is still in second, but Bryce had a very good week. His pickups did excellent in the week that he's had. He's at 113, as you'll see above. And then I'm still in first with 120, but I actually had a pretty slow week outside the Phillies. So I'm still in first because I still know the most ball.
Yeah, lucky. Bryce got lucky. The Yankees swept Dodgers or Detroit.
I agree.
He got lucky there.
Yeah. So that's what's going to take us into our standings, and I'll go over it real quick. In the American League, Baltimore still leads the AL East 23-11, followed by New York, one back 23-13, Boston 19-16, Tampa 18-18, and Toronto falls all the way to 16-19 after being 3-7 in their last 10. In the AL Central, the Guardians still have a lead, 23-12. Twins skyrocket up the leaderboard, 20-14. Royals 21-15. Detroit Tigers 18-17, and the White Sox are 8-27. In the AL West, the Rangers still skating by, 20-16, followed by Seattle 19-16. Oakland still hanging around, 17-19. Houston 12-22, and at the bottom, the Angels 12-23. Over in the National League, the red-hot Phillies, 9-1 their last 10, are at the top with a 3-game lead at 25-11, followed by Atlanta 20-12, Washington 17-17, New York Mets 17-18, and the Marlins 10-27. The Central, Milwaukee and the Chicago Cubs are tied, but Milwaukee offs the tiebreaker, 20-14, Cubs 21-15, Pittsburgh 17-19, Reds after a bad week, 2-8 in their last 10, 16-18, and St. Louis 15-20. Followed by the NL West, LA Dodgers with a commanding lead, 24-13, followed by San Diego 19-19, Arizona 15-20, the Giants 15-21, and the Colorado Rockies 8-28. Roy, when you look at those standings, is there anything that jumps out to you right away?
The red hot Phillies. I knew they were going to be good, but man, I watched their game the last 2 that they played, and they can hit. They play great defense, and they can pitch. So they they just have an all-around good team. That division, it's easily a Philly-Atlanta division. The Nationals are playing tough right now, but the Mets are not very good, and neither are the Marlins. Neither one of them can pitch, and that's what's going to get them in trouble. But the Phillies and Atlanta, Phillies are just. They're tough right now.
I know, and it's shocking because this is a Philly team with this core that has historically started slow and creeped their way back. And it's even more impressive because Trey Turner's out for 6 weeks with a hamstring injury. I don't know if it's a hamstring. I think it is, but I know he's out for a while with an injury. But it's their role players that have stepped up. You look at Alec Bohm, player of the week last week. Trey Turner, player of the week a couple weeks ago. All those other players, Bryson Stott, are stepping up, and that's what's really elevating them. When I look at the standings, I have something in my talking point, so I'm not going to talk about that. It's the Central for the NL. I'll go over the last 10. Milwaukee in their last 10, 4-6. Chicago in their last 10, 4-6. Pittsburgh, 4-6. Cincinnati, who was a heavy favorite to win this division coming in, 2-8. St. Louis, 4-6. They're really coming down to earth. I know Chicago's got some injuries, and Milwaukee was hot. Same thing with Pittsburgh. But, they're just not playing good ball in that division right now, and it's really ugly.
Yeah, I was watching some of those games too, and One that gets me out of Cincinnati, they can't pitch and they can't hit. They can't do either ones. But they're struggling both ways. They're getting players on. They got guys that can walk and get on base and steal bases. They just can't put them around. St. Louis, that team. I've watched a couple of games. I can't figure them out. I don't know. They
just can't hit anything right now. Their pitching is keeping them alive in some games, but they just, other than like maybe Wilson Contreras and a Gorman solo shot, they are just not hitting at all, and it's what's losing them games.
I just don't know if that, because Goldschmidt and Arenado are old. It just seems like they're just not gelling right now. Milwaukee I watched a couple of their games. They're nothing fancy, and somehow they're doing it. Pittsburgh's just coming back down. That's
them in Pittsburgh. I think got off to the hot start. I don't think many people had the Brewers and the Pirates that high. Chicago, I think, is clearly the best team in this division at the moment, but they've had the injury bug hit them pretty tough early, and I just don't think they're running away with it. Cincinnati, they started off good, but 2-8 in their last. They're just not playing well.
This division is the type of division. It's going to be. They're going to be like this probably all the way to July, and then whoever makes any deals at the deadline to get them a little bit better, will win that division. And that's and you only get one team in the postseason without doing that.
I agree. All right, I think I'm just going to take us right into the players of the week. In the National League, we have Showtime, Shohei Ohtani. First one as a Dodger, 29-year-old, hit .524, 11 for 21, 3 homers, 7 RBIs, 3 walks, 6 runs scored, 2 stolen bases, slugging .952 with a .583 on-base percentage across 5 games. What can you say about him? It's probably the best hitter in the game right now, just as a DH. It's incredible how good this guy is.
Oh, yeah. His home run the other night, oh, my gosh. I think he started off a little slow. He wasn't. That's how the Dodgers weren't playing, and it's starting to warm up, and he's starting to warm up. And with Freddie Freeman and Mookie Betts around, and that team is just, like we said, it was going to be scary. They're starting to round in form. If they can get everything else clicking, that team is just going to be dangerous.
Well, you look at Mookie Betts, who was a runaway MVP favorite the first 2 weeks of the season, the way he was hitting. Eventually, you got to say he's too hot to pitch to. I don't care who's on deck. Shohei Ohtani, we knew he was going to feast in this lineup. You can't pitch that 1-2-3 without getting hurt. It's just not going to happen.
That lineup top to bottom is good. And then they're scary.
And then over on the AL side, we have a little bit of a shocker. We have a Oakland Athletic, Brent Rooker, 29-year-old, hit .438, 7 for 16 with 3 homers, 7 RBIs, a double, 4 walks, 6 runs scored, a stolen base, slugging over 1,000 at 1.063 and a .550 on base percentage. He's always been a streaky hitter, home run hitter, and this is what Oakland's looking for. They have that 29-year-old that can have a hot month or two and have good, respectable stats at the deadline and hope to move them.
Yeah. Oakland, they're these young guys. That's what Oakland does. They get these young guys, trade them off or whatever, but it's because, but they're decent early on, but then they all know they're going to be once this whole trade deadline comes around, these players that hey, you might be traded, all these rumors, they're going to start, and that's what happens to Oakland. All these players are automatically going to be in the trade deadline or getting talked about, and then they start not performing because they're all worried about where they're going to go play, and then the A's kind of struggle. So Rooker's playing really well, good outfielder that could really help any team that needs an outfield.
Yeah. That's going to do it for the players of the week. We're just going to go right into our talking points. Roy's got some talking points he wants to talk about. What do you got, Roy?
Well, I wanted to talk, I wanted to talk about the Phillies. We talked about Nick Castellanos, whatever.
Castellanos.
He's been tearing up. Stout and all those guys. When you got Schwarber, who's just hitting what he does. He just hits home runs. And then Bryce Harper, he's a better. I watched him play first base. He's actually better than I thought he would be at first.
Yeah.
I figured he'd struggle for a few years and wouldn't be, but he made a play the other night that I was like, wow, okay, he can actually play first base. He was been impressive. Another player I liked, I was watching the other day, I really liked was Tatis. I was watching the Padres. I don't watch much Padres baseball, I'll admit that.
Yeah.
And I happened to catch him late the other night, and because I was after you guys told me, I think last week, that he could play right field. I wanted to see.
Yeah.
And I was actually surprised about how.
Yeah. He won Platinum Glove.
Oh yeah, and he's actually hitting the ball now.
Oh yeah,
he looks like a different player. I mean, he looks like the player that he was. The few games I watched, I mean, like I said, it could kind of remind me when I watched him, when he was younger a couple of years ago. I mean, the injuries kind of got him last year and stuff. But he looks like a very comfortable player. That Padre team looks very good.
Yeah,
and,
I mean,
they're going to be dangerous too.
I mean, you look at that team, like the Padres lineup. I mean, you have Fernando Tatis Jr., you have Hong-Sung Kim, who's hitting 300 with 8 home runs. I mean, it's respectable numbers. Who plays an excellent shortstop? You got Xander Bogaerts, who we know Xander Bogaerts. All he does is hit.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
And they have Manny Machado. And last year they had the same lineup, but with Juan Soto. I mean, that offense can really swing it. But Tatis. I mean, at shortstop, he was a real tall, lengthy shortstop with a cannon of an arm, but he just couldn't field the ground balls consistently. Like, they were just hitting off his heel, like his palm, tip of his gloves, and they threw him out in that outfield, man, because he's got, electric speed, an electric arm, and he's comfortable out there. It was it was a perfect fit. And then
my last guy I want to talk to, I mean, how can you not go a week without talking about Juan Soto? I mean, that dude is a fucking stud. I mean, sits an entire game against Detroit, comes in, pitch hits, and hits a clearing the bases for a double. I mean, he's just a stud. I mean, I've never seen a player, maybe Tony Gwynn, when he's up to the bat and he can actually see the pitches and where they're going, and he knows what's a strike, he knows what's a ball, and he'll when even when a strike's thrown, he's shaking his head. Yeah, I know it's a strike, and then he drills the next pitch. He's just a smart young player. He's changed that Yankees lineup. I mean, I just read that the Yankees on first pitch is batting. If they hit the first pitch they're batting 400. I mean, the best in baseball. So, and he's got, and with Judge starting to finally square up the ball and doing things, this lineup could be unreal if you get him going with Soto. Rizzo starting to kind of get into it. I still not seen it. Add some pieces to that lineup. It's going to be them and Dodgers might be playing for the World Series. Yeah.
No, I mean, you look at Juan Soto. I mean, I've watched Juan Soto because I liked Juan Soto as a national, and then when he was getting rumored to be dealt, I really wanted New York to do it, but they were not interested. Then I wanted St. Louis to do it so I could watch him consistently. But then when he went to San Diego, at the time, Fernando Tatis was my favorite non-Yankee. So when he went to San Diego last year, all I did was watch Padre games at night. So yeah, I watched him quite a bit last year and learned that, but it's incredible how he can change a lineup. Like, I know how special of a player is, but he makes others better. And you look at someone like Gleyber Torres, who we both are not a fan of. We know that. Yeah. But he has done much better at controlling the strike zone this year than he still can't get a hit. But he doesn't chase like he used to. Stanton still chases, but it's, that's because he's trying to hit home runs and he just doesn't know what's coming. Yeah. Judge always was a good eye, but nothing like Juan Soto. It's incredible how much you can tell that he's rubbed off in certain areas.
I agree. Yeah. And I mean, that team's, I don't know if it's if he brought the approach or the Yankees took in the approach, but it's really changed how everybody's doing it. I mean, Cabrera has taken in those too, and he's done much better with what.
True. Yeah. Another thing about Juan Soto that I've noticed watching him every day is he hits the high fastball better than almost anyone in baseball. And that is a hard pitch to get on top of or to get up to and not just swing right under it. You watch so many people like Stanton. Stanton is that low ball hitter who always hit them hanging sliders down the middle because he had that low swing that moves up. But you throw him that elevated fastball and he's late. Then they throw him the breaking ball away and he's swinging at it.
Yep.
But Juan Soto, if you watch, he sees it and gets on top of it better than anyone I've watched, and it's incredible. It's incredible.
I agree.
Those light tower shots to right center are always high fastballs that he's ready for. It's good.
Oh yeah.
I only have one real talking point in mind, and I want to go out to West to the NL. Because when I look at the NL West, and that was the very first division that we did as a podcast previewing. We did it all the way back, 3 months ago. We looked at the West. This was before the Giants made their big additions of Matt Chapman, Blake Snell. That was before Arizona signed Jordan Montgomery. That was right after Juan Soto deal had happened, so we knew the return for Juan Soto. And obviously we knew the Dodgers. When I look at this division, the Dodgers are 24-13 with a 66 run differential. They're 8-2 in their last 10. That's what we expected. We expected them to be one of the best teams in baseball. San Diego, we didn't know because they just traded Juan Soto, but we still like their lineup, and they got a lot of pitching in the Yankee return. 19-19, I think that's fair to say we would maybe assume that's where they'd be at. About.
Yeah.
It's the two teams below them that are concerning to me. Arizona Diamondbacks are in the World Series last year, and granted, yes, they weren't a 1 seed. They were a wild card that made it in, but they got better in the offseason, a lot better. 15-20, and the San Francisco Giants, who we also praised their moves at the time, and then made even more, 15-21. Both of them are 3-7 in their last 10. What's going wrong out west with some of these teams? Because both those teams don't have the "it's cold, we're not hitting."
Oh no. What I've noticed with Arizona and with San Francisco is the lack of power each team has, and the pitching's not been as good. Giants have been known for pitching. I've been shocked at how bad.
Yeah,
I
know.
Blake Snell and Jordan Montgomery, when they got in, they were going to struggle because they had no spring training.
Nothing.
Just throw them in there, and then Blake Snell gets hurt, and he's is he on the 15 or 15 days?
He's on the IL.
So the lack of pitching that I thought with both teams, because both teams, that's what they were pretty good at.
Yeah,
and hitting well, but it's not been. They both struggle in both those areas, and it's not been the team. I mean, Arizona is the one I just can't believe. I mean, that's just that you figure they would be right up there where they were at last year, but they've struggled getting out of the gate. But and San Francisco, I mean, you had to know. I mean, I thought their moves were good, but I guess they put so much money, so much time into in like three. They wanted Ohtani, they wanted Yamamoto and all these guys, and I don't know if they couldn't get any of these guys to come, so they went with these second tier players, and then now they're just struggling. I don't know that just not. It's not been. I mean, Colorado sucks, which we thought.
Well, yeah,
the other two teams, I just can't. Arizona and San Francisco just seem not to be. It's early May, so I mean it's not. They're just not where they may be out of the play out of winning the division, but they're not out of the playoffs.
Yeah, when I look at San Francisco, I mean they add Jung Ho Lee, who we thought was an excellent pickup, big quick center fielder, going to play that ginormous center field in Oracle Park or AT&T. I think it's Oracle, right? Yeah. And then but I mean he's not hitting at the top of the lineup. I mean he's hitting like 200. He's not. I mean we thought he'd be a good leadoff hitter and just get on base, maybe steal some bases. He's not doing it. Matt Chapman hasn't been very good other than on the defensive side. And Blake Snell has done virtually nothing for them, and I do agree. I kind of expected him and Montgomery to start slow, but I mean, you still, maybe okay start, really good start, mixed in there, but he just hasn't done it yet. And then in Arizona, I agree, is the more confusing one. Do you think maybe it's World Series hangover for some of these players? I mean, you look at someone like Corbin Carroll. Corbin Carroll had never played like a full year in Major League Baseball. It was his rookie year. They go all the way to the World Series, and he's excellent. Gets a very short offseason turnaround. I mean, Corbin Carroll's hitting 200 with like 4 RBIs.
Yeah, I mean that could be. I mean, when you've got some young players, I mean, and they've never gone that far, that could be it. I mean, you still got Marte. I mean, he's still batting 307. I mean, they've had some good players. Jock Peterson, I mean, these are experienced players, though, that, Jock Peterson's doing really well. I mean, it may be that they're just not, they're tired and they just haven't come back from, that, because that's a shorter off season when you go deep in the playoffs. So maybe they just haven't recovered from it all and they just have, getting back into it. But I mean, it's been a surprise. I mean, your home run leader's at 7 with Christian Walker.
Yeah,
I mean, he looks like he's been doing pretty well, but I mean, I thought Suarez would.
He's been horrible.
I thought they'd be better, but you're looking at averages of 203 and 222, and then you got Newman, your shortstop, batting under 200. You got a couple guys batting under 200. So I mean, that's just not. You can't win when you got 4 or 5. I mean, we saw that at the Yankees. If you got 4 or 5 guys batting 220 or below, you're struggling as a team, getting on base and scoring runs.
Yeah, I mean, when I look at the Diamondbacks, that's not what I wanted. You look at Zach Gallen, he is their ace. He's got a 3.38 ERA.
Yeah.
I look at Brandon Pavat, who's probably like a 4. So you're not expecting a whole lot. He's got a 4.61. It's not awful for a back end, but you'd probably wish that to be a little bit better. Merrill Kelly there too has got a 2.19 ERA. I mean, that's good. He only has 24 innings pitched, so I don't know if he went on the IL or if he is. I can't see what I'm on. Montgomery though, he's got a 5.6. I mean, it's just.
Yeah, I mean,
it's just not ideal.
Bad. I mean, Tommy Henry, who I love because he's a Michigan player, Michigan pitcher that took us to this World Series, College World Series. I mean, this is like his second year in the major leagues. Last year was his first year kind of getting in there. I mean, yeah, you look at ERAs. I mean, he's back. I mean, he's at 5. I mean, the Kelly's at 2.19. I mean, Gallen's not. I mean, 3.30. But he's got 35 strikeouts with 9 walks. I mean, I take that over anything.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't think it's Zach Gallen that's hurting this team. I just think it's all the others, the bullpen mixed in with not hitting. Maybe I know they don't have their closer, but I don't think they've blown many leads. I don't think they're hitting. I think they're giving up, that 4, 5, 6 runs a game, which is, average, maybe a little bit more. And they just aren't hitting. I mean, you look at Corbin Carroll. They've moved all the way down to like the 7 hole. Suarez not hitting. Lourdes Gurriel was the hottest player for a week in baseball. I don't think he's hit a whole lot since then. I feel like he's, as a Yankees fan, you got those holes, and it just seems like every time you have that cold hitter come up the bat, those are when there's 2 outs and a runner on base.
Yeah, I mean, if you go deeper into their stats, I mean, as I'm looking, their errors, I mean, their feelings high. I mean, not very. I mean, mid year, and you can't win ball games when you're making errors. I mean, it's just yeah. I mean, they're struggling, and maybe it's just a horrible start. They just can't get things going, and maybe they will. But Arizona is the team that you can't. I just can't believe that that they're in this position right under 500, and you figure at least above 5, they'd be around 500, even if you're got a hangover from. But they're not out of it, so that's a good thing. They're not like Colorado.
I mean, they haven't dug a hole, single digit win, so anything's possible. But I think that division is probably. Maybe a little bit out of reach. Maybe I'm not saying it's out of reach at the moment, but I don't see the Dodgers slowing down. I just don't see the Dodgers slowing down. Yeah, I mean, could the Diamondbacks make up 8 games or whatever it is? Let's see, what is it?
I think there's 6.
Yeah, 8 games.
16. I think they're out of the division. I don't think they can win the division. Dodgers are going to be too good. I think that. But if you look at 6 teams make the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
I don't think the Central is going to get more than 1 team in. I mean, they're just not
right now. No,
not right now. I mean, you're talking maybe the Cubs, probably the most likely team to get in there. That Philly and Atlanta will get in because they're the 2 and Dodgers. So there's 4 teams right there. So your last 2 is wild card. And right now, San Diego would be it, and then maybe Milwaukee if they keep it up, which I think they're going to come down to earth. But
and I would be shocked if the Nationals, Mets, or Marlins made their way up to that mark.
So Arizona's right there. I mean, you're talking probably Arizona, maybe like a Central team that's probably going to try to get that last playoff spot, make a way through. So
we said 6, right? 6 make it.
Yep, 6 teams.
I mean, the Dodgers. A Central team, the Phillies, and the Braves. So you have 2 spots left. Those 2 spots are going to go to either the Padres, Diamondbacks, Giants, or a Central or a second Central team. There's no way 3 Central teams make it. I'd be shocked.
No. I still think the Reds will get hot. Just by watching them, they got too much talent to get things maybe turn around. I don't think Milwaukee will, and you never know. The Cardinals might get a hot spot.
Yeah.
I don't know, so you never know. I don't think Pittsburgh did anything. So there's teams that may turn around. I mean, like I said, it's May 7th, so you never know.
Yeah. All right, Roy. I know you said you kind of want to talk some trades a little bit.
Yep.
All right, let's hear it.
So, obviously, we're Yankee fans, so I'm a team that. I don't care if anybody else trades or to make them better. All I care about the Yankees being better. I was hoping to hear. I wish Bryce was here so I could hear what his thoughts on Cubs trying to get better.
I can tell you, I know how Bryce feels, so I know what he wants.
Well, what's he want? I mean, I don't.
Bryce wants bullpen. That's all he wants right now. All he wants is bullpen help.
All right. So I think they leaned a little more than bullpen help, but that's all right. But from a Yankee fan, as a Yankee fan, I'm a huge. I think there's some glaring holes, and I know me and you don't maybe not agree on what the holes are. I mean, the one I think we both agree on is second base. I cannot stand watching Gleyber Torres out there. Can't hit, and his fielding has never improved.
No.
To a level where we can count on him to make that play.
Yeah.
When we needed it, and that's he struggles turning double plays, and it's bad when Volpe covers a huge area and Torres cannot even cover his area, and that drives him nuts. So I think second base is the biggest glaring for me. Plus, I think starting pitching. I'm not a Nestor Cortez fan. I think he's a bullpen guy. I always thought he has been. And I mean, I'm not a Rodon fan. So I know you like him, but I can. It's not that I don't. It's not that I like him. I just know there's no way. It's the Stanton situation from like 2 years ago. He's getting hurt all the time. There's no way they can move him yet or do anything. I don't think we can move him. But he's not. They treat him like he's a number 2, and to me, he's never been that guy. And I'm not a fan of him
with the Yankees.
For the Yankees, I mean, Garrett Cole's come back. Obviously, we're going to get him back, but it's going to be. He's not going to be in round in shape or being great until probably August is when I'm looking at. Maybe for the play September is when he's starting to round in form. So we need Nestor. To me, is just somebody. I think he's a tradable person. I think his contract's tradable. I think another team. I mean, I personally, what we were talking about Arizona for a long time. I really want Arizona to struggle and go down because there's 2 players I want from them. I want Marte and Gallen to be a trade because Gallen's on a 1-year deal, and Marte is still tradable at that. So I think if you could make them enough trade with prospects, maybe send them somebody like obviously Torres. I think you guys send Torres somewhere. You might be able to eagle that out with some prospects to get those 2 players. I think that would improve the Yankees and help them out. Just in that's one trade I like.
Well, I will burst your bubble. Ketel Marte signed a 5-year extension, so there is no way he's going to be on the move. And you said the other one was Gallen?
Yeah,
Gallen has 1 year.
He's got 1 year,
so,
10.
I mean, in theory, he could move. I mean, they won't.
If Arizona drops, they're not a high market team. And knowing that Torres becomes off of a contract, I mean, this is the last year. Arizona's the type of team that would try to lose some money for the following year to maybe do something.
But if you're Arizona, I mean, this is a team full of young players.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't. It's not saying I would. I think it's a player. Those are 2 players that you could try to get.
Oh, I mean, yeah, I see what you're saying.
I think they Arizona might be willing if it was the right price because they're that kind of franchise that does that.
Yeah, I mean, I know what you're saying. I just think they're so young that I mean, there's no way they want to move Zach Gallen. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm sure he has a price. If the Yankees called and said, "We'll give you Juan Soto for Zach Gallen," I'm sure they'd say yes.
But if you don't think they've tried to sign him. From what I read, they tried to sign him, and he has not tried to do an extension. He's on his last year, 1-year deal here.
Yeah,
and $10 million. If you're not going to sign him, would you trade to try to get some prospects? At least maybe not for second base, but get Yankees get a pitcher out of it.
I mean, I know what you're saying, and I agree.
Get a starting pitcher that might be available. Zach Gallen's who I think second baseman. Obviously, we want to.
One's off the board.
Yeah, he's off the board. So
I mean, you think so? Unless the Padres tank their late, then maybe not. But I think he's got I think he's got like 2 years left. So I mean, they probably like him.
I would assume they keep him. After him, I mean, really, who is there at second base which you could go for?
I mean, there's nobody right now.
I mean, could you? The only thing I was also thinking, and this is just me a bit spitballing, could you move Cabrera to second base? Oswald Cabrera.
Yep.
Because I think he's done a pretty good job at third. And he did a good job at first when he's done that. I think he's actually a very versatile player that can move.
Mm-hmm. He can even play the outfield. He did it for 2 years.
Yeah, trade him and maybe get a third baseman, maybe like McCann or whatever his name from
Colorado. That's McMahon.
McMahon. I know he's not. I don't know what his contract situation or anything is, but Colorado's always willing to deal for anything. Seems like.
Yeah, I don't think the Yankees would move Torres and slide DJ to second because they don't want DJ running around like that. That's why they put him at third. Because you just sit at a corner.
No, DJ's gonna play first and third. He's
So I don't know if they would move Torres and then trade. Let's just say Torres and Oswaldo and go get someone to play third. Does that make? I could see him maybe moving. So yeah. I mean, I know that you.
But I know but the Yankees like to sit every other day. They like to sit play, and that's been their problem right now. They're not deep enough to sit like Rizzo. I mean, Rizzo played 14 games straight before he actually got a day off or something like that.
Yeah.
And that's when, and with DJ not healthy, DJ just keeps getting hurt. So I don't know if will he be back this year. That's the next question.
I mean, you don't need to rush him. That's one thing about getting off to a good start. I mean, if it spurs up at all, they're just going to put him down for a little bit because they don't need him at the moment.
No, they don't. I'm just trying to think of ways to get rid of Torres. Maybe that's all I'm trying to do is just think of ways to get rid of Torres.
Yeah. So I'll ask you this, Roy. As a Yankees fan, you want second base. You would like a starting pitcher.
And I like a closer.
And you'd like a closer. Okay. Well, so would everybody in baseball. I mean, it's actually unbelievable you say you want a closer when we have one that would be the closer all-star game.
Everybody can say Holmes is doing well, but, man, if you actually watch the Yankees and how many times he walks guys and gets in trouble, gives up hits, he's been able to get out of it, but it's not. I mean, it's always on the verge of him just collapsing like every.
It's crazy. You say you want a closer when we have one with a 0 ERA.
I don't care.
The best ERA in baseball, and you don't want him.
You know how good he could be if you just kept him free in the 7th or 8th inning and then brought in a closer.
I mean, I know what you mean.
You know who I want as a closer. So I mean, from the A's.
Yeah, Mason Miller. Yeah, so does everybody. 29 other teams want him.
Yeah, but the Yankees have some prospects they can get rid of to get him.
Yeah. I want Torres gone. I know, and I have not been a big fan of this, but it's hard for me to envision them keeping him for so long to not use him. Oswald Peraza seems like he's going to slide right into that spot. Now, I'm not saying this year. I'm not saying when he's healthy he's going to go in. I can see them just at this point, and I didn't think they would stick this long. I can see them just sticking with Torres, riding him out to the end of the deal, letting him walk and saying thank you very much. We have your replacement at home. That's kind of how I think they're going to go about it because you don't lose like a righty-lefty. You go righty to righty. You'd have, 4 or 5 years of service time with Peraza. He was a highly touted prospect at one point. They've let him sit for 4 years, basically. I would like a starter too, but I just know how the Yankees work. Unless there's an injury, there's no way Cole's not in the rotation. No. There's no way Rodon's not in the rotation. There's no way that Stroman's not in the rotation. And there's no way that Clark's not in the rotation. I could see Nestor getting pushed to the bullpen, but something would have to be perfect. I don't even think he would leave the rotation, but I could see it at times.
Oh, yeah.
So I think now if there's an injury, that's a different story.
I mean, we know Cashman. He doesn't like, and we could give up all these ideas, and he'll come up with some stupid ass thing.
Yeah.
Now I could see. Now I agree with Peraza. My problem with Peraza is they have strung him along for about the last 3 or 4 years. Bringing him up, burning it down, bringing him up, kind of like what they did Floral. In the outfield.
Yeah.
And look out, Floral's actually not doing too bad this year. He's in Minnesota.
He's in Cleveland. He's got home runs. He's hitting like a $190 though at it. So
yeah, I mean he's been playing pretty good defense.
Looks like he grew up in the Yankee farm system.
So what that's the problem. And but that's been my problem is what the Yankees do with these guys is they up and down, and it's continuing. Do that stupid stuff, and I don't like what they've done, and that's been my problem with. I would rather them. I think he comes back next week and playing minor league baseball.
Oh, Peraza, yeah.
Yeah. So if he did really well in AAA and at the trade deadline, the Yankees, he's doing well. I mean, I could see him, they've tried to trade Torres for the last 3 or 4 years.
They were close, not this past season, 2 years ago. It was the year they flipped Montgomery for Bader 2 years ago.
2 years ago. Okay.
That was the year they did. It was going to be a Pablo Lopez for Gleyber straight, and I want to say Miami backed out of it.
Because I think it was a done deal. That's why they made the trade for Bader,
and they pivoted.
But yeah. If Gleyber's still batting 200, and it's gonna be hard to get rid of him anyway. So,
the only way that I see the Yankees moving Gleyber, is if they can pack it. If Peraza is healthy and he's playing in AAA, because I'm assuming they're not gonna. I don't think right now they would bring him up to the major league level and sit.
I read yesterday that he's supposed. It's either at the end of this week or next week where he will play. Move to AAA, Double A, AAA.
Well, he's going to do rehab games. They'll probably start him in like Class A or Double
this year, and then they move him over. Yeah,
yeah. But I don't envision them sitting him on the bench because they have their bench already, and I mean it's fine how it is. If he's playing well, June, July, early August, if he's playing well, and Gleyber is still just Gleyber, I could see them moving Gleyber for. I could even see them moving Gleyber for like a prospect, like somebody who isn't going to help at the major league level. But I also don't think that I see it because they are trying to win this year. Yeah. And is Peraza going to be better than Gleyber this season? I don't know because he doesn't have any experience, and at least Gleyber has experience. Like the moment isn't going to be too big for Gleyber. We know that, but. I don't know.
Sure, the moment's not going to be too big for him.
I mean,
what the fuck has he done in the postseason to help us?
Yeah, I personally think the Yankees are going to be standing very flat this trade deadline based off the roster that they have. I mean, you look at the outfield. You got nobody to add because Verdugo is going to play this contract out. He's going to, and he's going to hit free agency. I don't know if they would bring him back. I kind of hope they do. I kind of like Alex Verdugo. I think he's a good fit. He's exactly what.
He's actually surprised me. I mean, I hated him.
I know you did.
But he's actually done better. He's actually done better in the 4th spot in the lineup than he was down by 6 or 7.
Well, he does exactly what the Yankees have missed. When those runners are on, for the most part, he does strike out every once in a while. He's going to put the ball in play. He's going to find that hole. And that's when Rizzo came over. That's what we fell in love with was, holy shit, this guy at least puts the ball in play. I don't care where it goes. He gets the bleeders. He doesn't hit the ball hard every time. Verdugo does the same thing. So, when Stanton and Judge and Soto are walking and he just puts the ball in play in the right field, he tallies a run.
Well, the only way I see him coming back next year is if they just basically say, Stanton, we're eating your contract.
I 100% agree.
Because we got Dominguez. I don't think Dominguez is going to play this year. I think they're going to.
I don't either.
Him because
he'll go to AAA, and I heard he's going to start DHing here soon.
That's why I did read that
because he had the Tommy John, so he can swing.
I think he'll DH and he'll get back into form. I mean, I can see him a September call up, whatever.
Yeah.
But they're gonna have to. I mean, he's our center fielder. Obviously, move Judge to left probably and have Soto. They're gonna have to have a 4th and maybe a 5th outfielder to give. But they need that DH spot is what they have to have because you can't have Judge unless you move one of them to first base. I mean, that's the only thing you can do.
I mean,
and I don't because the other thing is because I was reading this yesterday or over the weekend. I mean, Spencer Jones is tearing it up in Double-A.
Yeah, he missed the first month and now he's back and he's tearing it up.
And he's tearing it up, and they're talking about what to do with him. Do you move? I mean, because they're like moved to AAA, but then AAA. I mean, I don't know what they're. He's moving up faster than what you think. I mean, it's kind of like doing what Dominguez is. So do you just? I mean, because Rizzo's done this year, right? Is Rizzo's contract up?
They can get out of it after this year. It's a team option, and if they decline it, they got to pay him like $6 million.
I just decline it. I mean, I enjoyed Rizzo for it, but his and I think his clubhouse would be great, but I think you can move him on and make a first baseman out of Judge or Spencer Jones or somebody to kind of get to. I mean, if Harper can do it, one of those guys can do it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it lines up well for him. I'm curious to see if the Yankees would do that because he is a good outfielder from what I've heard.
Yeah.
But I mean, at the end of the day,
where do you put him?
If you have Aaron Judge, Juan Soto, Jason Dominguez, and Spencer Jones, somebody has got to play first base of those four. And this might sound crazy, I could see Juan Soto transitioning to first base. It's not that fast. I mean, I'm sure he could learn how to field a ground ball. Maybe you don't want him taking one off the teeth, but I think that's a better. And then you can move Judge back over to right and have Spencer Jones play the big left field. Now, I'm not saying they would do that because, I mean, at the end of the day, Juan Soto's 25 years old. But
yeah,
I think the roster-wise, it works better. But, I mean, it really doesn't matter who's there. If you're
going to sign Juan Soto to a $700 million contract, I'd put him in right field and just make sure he can't get hurt. There's no way. Unless he runs into a fucking wall in L.A. Dodgers and tears up his toe.
The thing that is confusing to me is the Verdugo situation. Because he's going to play the rest of the year as a Yankee, but he's been really good. Now, if you're just like, we really appreciate it, but we just don't have room for you, I kind of get it, but I don't know. At this moment, I would like to re-sign Verdugo to a team-friendly deal. I'm not, giving him $20 million by any means, but I also don't think that's going to happen.
No, they've got to figure. I mean, they need more guys like Verdugo that get on base. They put the ball in play. That's what they lack. The problem with Torres, Torres used to be that guy back when he was younger, and then he just got the taste of when he hit 30 home runs a couple years ago.
And juice ball era. He hit like 41.
He fucking loved the home run, and that's when he lost all of his swing, and then he started swinging bad pitches. And that's been the problem. But at least, and that's why you got him. I think Wells is a good catcher that's going to do that for you.
Yep.
And I think Cabrera, he's one that surprised me. He can be really good. I don't know where the team's got a lot of decisions to make after this year. But this year, they got a chance this year, which is what we've been saying, that they have to use their get this team to where they can win for Judge.
No, I mean, I agree.
Soto, so you've got to get the players who are going to win for long term too. So
I just don't see the Yankees going out and spending big on the trade market. I can see them adding a role player. You remember when they added like Andrew Benintendi? He was never going to come in and be the superstar, but we need someone to get on base, and then that's why they trade for him. And he was only here for the rest of the season, and then he was done. I see something like that, someone on a one-year deal who will be the free agent, who maybe they can add. I'm not even saying it's a line. It might be the pitching rotation. It might be a bullpen. I think that's what they're going to target. So what about the Cubs? We talked about the Yankees for a while. What about the Cubs? I know I can act in Bryce's point of view. Bryce wants a bullpen arm. Now, everybody in baseball wants a bullpen arm.
Yeah.
And it's hard to know who's going to be available and when.
Well, any White Sox player will be available, so if they want some of them.
Yeah, that's true. Garrett Crochet, who is a starter at the moment, but he's been a bullpen his whole career. Michael Kopech.
Yeah.
Yep. All the other teams too. Look at Arizona. They might move like a bullpen arm. If Detroit falls out, they have the best bullpen ER in baseball. They can move a bullpen arm. So it's really concerning. I know that Bryce really likes the Cubs rotation, and they have been excellent so far. I just don't know how sustainable it is for a first and second year player who are not highly touted to have a 1 ERA. You know what I mean? I give it up more to the coaching staff and Craig Counsell than I do some of the players sometimes.
Mm-hmm. That's probably true. I mean, if you're the Cubs right now and you want to really make a run, because I know he said last week that the Cubs could compete with anybody.
Yes.
I think they can compete with anybody except for the Phillies, Braves, and Dodgers right now.
Yeah.
I think they'd have to do some upgrade, and I think it'd probably need a bigger bat in their lineup. And then I think that you might add a bullpen. Besides bullpen, they might need to add an arm to compete with
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, like you said, they got a great ERA, but I don't know how sustainable it is. You might look at that's they'd have to do something like that to compete, because that's the problem. I mean, they're not far off, but those three teams, I look at the whole league, like the National League. We said Philly, Atlanta, and LA are the three teams that are running away with the league right now. In the American League, I would say, you got Boston, or not, you got the Yankees, Baltimore are probably the higher class. Boston's up there. I mean, because you look at run differential, I mean, that's where everybody's at. I was looking at that. You look at the teams, there were 7 teams with above 40 run differential right now. Baltimore, New York, the Yankees, the Red Sox, the Guardians, the Phillies, and then I counted the Braves. They're at 34, and then you have the Dodgers. So they're the only teams with anything over 30 run differential. Sorry, the Royals too. So you're looking at higher class teams that are probably that are doing better, that are sustainable. I think those teams are sustainable with competing for a World Series right now. Those teams.
Yeah.
I don't know how Cleveland's doing that so well. I mean, I don't.
I mean, they just hit the shit out of the ball from what I've seen.
And their pitching. When Shane Bieber went down, I thought, oh, that team's gonna suck.
Yeah, I agree.
But like you said, at the beginning of the season, they find ways to win. But
well, they also played the White Sox. I think I think they only have one series left against the White Sox.
So back to the Cubs. That's I keep talking about the Yankees. You got to look to how you compete with those teams. Yankees have to look how they're going to compete with the Baltimore Orioles. Are just freaking good. There's nothing to say about other than that. And there's going to be a team in the National League and American League that's going to, like the Arizona that got hot, and then Texas got hot. So you got to look how can you counteract these teams. That's how you got to look as a GM, not as, hey, how we have some this or that. We're pretty good right now, but you got to start looking. Hey, we might play this team. How can we beat this team? We got to have. And that's how I think you should work as a GM. And not all GMs look at that. I don't think Brian Cashman looks that way. Which drives me nuts. And I hope I read right that he might be gone in 2026. So that's what it said. I'm hoping. Come on,
that dude's gonna be the GM when I'm a grandpa, Roy.
No, they're saying Kevin Reese will be it. So hopefully, I'm keep my fingers crossed. You got to think. So. But no, the Cubs have got to do something to compete, especially with they're talented, but not like Philly, Atlanta, or
No, I know. The Cubs, they do play a different style of baseball than most in these days. They do put the ball in play, like almost up and down every lineup. I mean, even Cody Bellinger, when he's healthy, he puts ball in play more than he did when he was with the Dodgers. I've watched a few games with Bryce. Nico Horner is just the perfect leadoff hitter. He does. He just puts the ball in play, hits the ball hard. He doesn't hit home runs. He steals bases. He's what we want Volpe to be. I know Volpe hits a little bit more power. Yes, he plays in Yankee Stadium, but he's the same idea. When he's on, he's looking to run and things like that. I think the problem with the Cubs that I have is, like you said, they don't have that bopper in the lineup. Yes, Cody Bellinger is, but he's the only one. And you can work around it. Now, Michael Busch has done it a little bit, but outside of his home runs and his hot 2 weeks, he hasn't hit the ball very much. So he's not a complete hitter yet. Obviously, he's a rookie. Christopher Morel reminds me of a young Javi Baez up to the bat. When he connects, man, it goes a long, long way. But he does swing and miss a lot as well. I think they are a team that needs that middle of the order bat that's experienced, because they are very young for the most part. You look at Dansby Swanson. Dansby Swanson's like 29, 30. He's the oldest player on the team, basically. Mm-hmm. Cody Bellinger is a vet. It's too early to know who's going to be out on the market, but the Cubs need that bopper to knock in all their runs a lot, because even with people who put the ball in play a lot, it's hard to get 2, 3, 4 hits in an inning. It just is. But I give it to Bryce. Their major issue is the bullpen. They have a really bad bullpen. Mm-hmm. They came into the year as Albert Alzolay being their closer. He's gone. He is not their closer. He's got above 5 ERA. They've locked him out of they don't have a closer. They're doing what the Yankees did that half of the year when Clay Holmes couldn't get an out. It's who's available in the 9th inning.
Yep.
Who hasn't pitched in a few days? They don't have someone right now, and that's not good. The Yankees have shown that over the years. You need someone who, even if they're not the best, they're the closer. It doesn't matter who's in the lineup, who's coming up the bat. They're getting the 9th inning.
I agree.
And I think it makes other people in the bullpen play better. I'm coming in, 6th or 7th because someone, and someone's going to be 7, 8, 9.
Yep.
And bullpen always is available at the deadline, so that's a plus for the Cubs. There's always going to be somebody available. It's just who. You look at the Rangers. If the Rangers aren't looking good, David Robertson, Kirby Yates, older players who are going to be able to move. Look at the White Sox. They got some bullpen arms, but I think the Cubs need some bopper, need a veteran bopper and some bullpen.
Yep, I agree.
And I don't think we have. Do you have anything else? I really don't.
I don't have anything else, no.
That's going to take us into my lock of the week. And I'm also, Roy, you said you had a game for, what do you call it?
What is guess a player?
Okay. I will do Bryce's game of the week as well. So Let me go to my bet. My bet last week did not win because the Yankees, I think it was the Yankees, one of the teams won, but they didn't win by 2. I had minus 1.5, so I lost. So pissing me off, but you know what? We're back at it. I got to go in tomorrow for me. Sonny Gray is on the mound against the Mets. I'm going to take the Cardinals money line, and that's a risk, I know.
Oh, I'd definitely take that one. There's a lot of players right there. The Mets will have a lot of players available.
Yeah, but the Mets have also, bullpen-wise, I agree, but the Mets, they have Steve Cohen, man. They can really rip that turnaround quick. They're going to be in play for Juan Soto. They're going to make offers.
Oh, yeah. I mean, in free agency, but I think he's willing to trade a bunch of players just to get that point.
Okay, I have my bet. It's pretty small. I'm going to do Orioles money line over the Nationals and Cardinals money line over the Mets. I'm going to bet $25. It pays $62.39 on DraftKings. All right.
So I'll go with the first player. All right, ready? Baseball player. He started his career. This is from 2002 to 2014. Okay. Started his career with the Indians, then the Phillies, the Mariners, the Rangers, and then ended his career back with the Phillies.
Okay. Say the teams again.
Started with the Indians. All right.
Okay.
Went to the Phillies. Went to Mariners, Rangers, and then in his career again with the Phillies.
Can I get a position?
Pitcher.
Indians, Phillies, and then what's the team after the Phillies?
Mariners.
See, the Mariners is the team I don't think this guy played for.
And then the Rangers, and then back to the Phillies.
I don't know if I know this. I don't think my guess is right, but I know this guy played for the Phillies and the Rangers. I also don't know if that timeline matches up exactly. My guess is Cole Hamels.
No, I knew you were going to guess that, but that's not Cole Hamels.
Who is it?
Cliff Lee.
Fuck!
They pitched together, so
I know they did. I know who Cliff Lee is.
That's why he kind of went with it.
He did pitch for the. I knew he pitched for the Indians too.
He pitched with CC.
God, I can't believe I didn't think of him when I thought of Cole Hamels.
Yep.
I don't know if I knew Cliff Lee played for the Rangers though.
He got traded, so he started with the Indians, got traded to the Phillies in 2009 for the playoff run. I remember that, and then he ended up signing a big deal with the Mariners. And then that year, he got traded to the Rangers in a playoff run.
Didn't know that.
And then went to the Phillies. So
yeah, okay.
I got one more if you want him.
Yep, let's hear it.
So this one may be a little tougher for you. I don't know. It's because it started in 1987, but he ended in 2007. All right.
Okay.
And I love this guy as a I'll give you, he's a pitcher. All right.
Okay.
He was one of my favorite because he was a Yankee at one point. All right. So he started with the Blue, and there's a lot of teams. All right. So you ready? He started with the Blue Jays, then signed with the Tigers, got traded to the Reds, then signed with the Orioles, then signed with the Yankees, then went to the Blue Jays, White Sox, back to the Yankees. This is not even close. Then the Padres, Red Sox.
Oh my God.
Padres again, and finished his career in 2007 with the Dodgers. I know you've heard of this guy, but you probably hard to guess. This was
Eric Gagne.
Who?
He's Eric Gagne.
No,
Eric Gagne is a pitcher.
I know, but I don't think he ever pitched for the Yankees.
I have no clue.
Give up already?
Yeah, I don't even know where to go.
David Wells.
Okay, I know who that is, and I know he pitched a perfect game with the Yankees. I don't know a lick about him though. I always see on him throwing a perfect game. That's it.
Oh yeah, no, I knew he played with a lot of teams, but I didn't know it started in 1987. So
I didn't even know I didn't know who he had played for, or I don't know anything about him other than that perfect game. You know who I was really hoping it was when you started?
Who?
David Cone.
You know what? That's funny. I was going to do David Cone. And I was like, I can't do David Cone because I watched the Yes Network. I figured you watched some of it.
Oh yeah, that's all I watch is Yes
David
Network.
Cone. And I was like,
I do too.
What? He'll guess David Cone right off the bat because it starts with the Mets with him.
Well, I know. I was waiting for the Mets in this one, and I never got it. And I said, well, it's not David Cone then.
And they pitched together back in 97 and 98. So I was like, I was gonna go with him, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go with David Wells because I love David Wells. So
I have a game for you, Roy.
All right.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Starting in 2016 till this past season, 2023, can you name the 7 Rookie of the Years in the American League only? Okay. You should definitely get number 1, number 2017.
American League Rookie.
American League only, yes.
Was Judge?
It is Aaron Judge.
Judge 27.
2018.
Wasn't Gary Sanchez?
It was not Gary Sanchez.
I will. Vlad Guerrero.
Vladdy Jr.
Vladdy Jr.
He has not won in any of the years. All you have to do is guess the player, and I'll give you any of the years. So you can go back to last year if you want, and go backwards if it makes it easier.
Well, I'm trying to think. Shit, man, I didn't pay attention who wins those.
So you've gotten 1. You've gotten Judge.
Come on. I got to be able to think of these.
American League only. Everyone on this list except for one player. I'm sure they make sense.
And for some reason, I can't think of top of my head who any of these freaking players
are. If you can't think of any at all, I can start giving you the team.
Was Bregman?
Bregman is not on this list.
Damn. Thought for sure he was on that list. Ohtani.
Ohtani is the year after Judge, 2018.
Trout, he was before that, wasn't he?
Trout was 12. He was on here well before.
I thought he was.
You have 19, 20, 21, 22, 23.
That's who I got left?
You have 5 left. You've gotten 2 of the 7. And you got the first 2, 2017 and 2018.
Oh, shit. Let's go with...
Think about very good young players in the American League.
Well, I mean, the only ones I know are the Orioles, and but I think I don't know if he even got Rookie of the Year.
Who?
Well, I mean, because Henderson's not a rookie this year, right? He's a Rookie of the Year this year. He's Rookie this year.
No. Gunnar Henderson played the whole year last year.
Oh, I thought he just played this year. Oh, so is he rookie?
Is that a guess?
Last year? Yeah.
Gunnar Henderson did win American League Rookie of the Year last year.
I thought he only played half the year last year.
No. He might have went down for a little bit, but he still won the award.
That's what gets me. All right.
So I'll take him to 2019. This is a Houston Astro Rookie of the Year.
Tucker?
Nope. You probably don't know that this guy was a rookie in 2019.
Carlos Carrera?
No, he won in 15.
15. I figured I was too old.
He is still currently an Astro.
Yeah, shit. You had to ask. I don't know this one. Give me that one because I won't know this one.
Yordan Alvarez, 2019 Rookie of the Year.
See, I didn't know he was a rookie when he was.
Yeah.
See, my problem is I don't know when people are rookies when they come in.
2020, I'll skip because you're not going to get it probably. Like you won't. Seattle Mariners, Kyle Lewis.
No,
that was the COVID year.
Big Kyle Lewis. I know the year. I know who he is. But is Julio Rodriguez?
Julio Rodriguez is the award gunner at 2022. You're left with one. 2021. So
he was 2022.
Yes.
22. Damn. See, I thought he was 20. For some reason, I thought he was. I was way off. So I need 2021 is what you're saying.
Correct. And you know this guy very well.
2021.
I'll give you a hint. He's in the American League East, but not a Yankee.
I'm gonna guess the Blue Jay. Am I close?
Nope. Oh, I mean,
if it's a Red Sox, I don't even want to talk about it. Thank God.
You're down to two teams.
So I know, but
I actually can't believe this guy was a rookie this year, but it makes sense. I do remember it. Feels like this guy's been in the league forever.
Oh, great. So I probably won't.
He's a Ray.
I know. I'm going down a list. I don't think those guys. I can't try to think of when those guys were in the league.
2021 Rookie of the Year for the Tampa Bay Rays. Also the year they went to the World Series.
Just give it to me. I'm not going to get
it. Okay. You got anything?
Nope. Say. You got anything, Lena?
Do you got anything?
Nope. I'm good. All right. I think that's going to do it. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, comment if you're new. And we hope you enjoyed it. And we'll peace out and see you next weekend. Peace.
Peace. Say peace.
Peace.
Gotta find my way to you.